All right, guys. Let's see. Yeah, let me see if I'm at the right spot here. I actually did this slide, guys. I'm going to get into applying for credit today. You just saw the very end of the last ed puzzle you did. This is kind of from the current slide forward, and we're going to talk about credit cards today and kind of application process, bankruptcy, things like that. So, guys, they make it very easy for you and I to get credit. If you ever go to borrow money, want a credit card, or going through Best Buy, Lowe's, Home Depot, and again at the checkout, they ask you, would you like to fill out credit card application, save 10% today, whatever. Again, it's very easy to do. So it's very easy to get credit most times. There are times when tight money policies in place and where they're a little tighter with stuff. But again, getting credit cards into our hands is something they try to do, and they do make it very easy to do. So they do check your credit history, and we'll look at the three C's of credit here. We'll talk about FICO scores. Let me get this all up there. Credit scores, guys, and credit scores. I don't want to. I'm going to say this, and you take it with a grain of salt, whatever you want to do with it. But a credit score, guys, is just lets the banks knows how well that you handle credit or handle debt. I'm sorry. How well do you handle debt? That's all a credit score is. If you're going to borrow money from banks and this and that, yeah, you'll need to worry about your credit score. If you want to do that, obviously there's safer ways to build a credit score rather than just an open-ended credit, and we'll talk about that later on. But again, I would advise you try to pay cash, save money to where you can pay cash for things as it comes up. I understand probably not a house can we pay cash for. Will they check your credit? Sure they will, but by then, again, you'll probably have paid bills, paid phone bills, things like that on time. Again, that builds your credit score. Rent can build your credit score. A secured credit card with a closed line of credit where you pay it in full each month can build your credit score. Getting a bill in your name can build your credit score. So there's ways to do it without an open-ended credit card. So be very careful with that. But again, credit scores, I always focus on building my wealth rather than my credit score. And that's kind of what I focus on. Three C's of credit, when they look at your character, capacity to pay, how much money you make, collateral, things like that. That's what they look for. They don't call your economics teacher and check on your character. How was he or she in class? That's not the character we're talking about. Do you pay bills on time, or are you always late paying your bills? That tells a lot about your character. What's important to you. If you're always late, things like that, that probably means you're not handling your money very well. Can't pay bills on time. So that's going to obviously ding your character for sure. Your capacity to pay. How much money do you make? Make a lot or little? Again, that's going to be one of the things they check as far as your credit is concerned. I talked about character there, collateral. What do you have? What assets do you have? What can they take if you do not repay that loan? So you'll see three C's of credit, capacity to pay, character, collateral, those things you'll see down the road in the future. But again, always make sure you're paying bills on time. If it's a credit card bill, pay it on time. Pay something off, pay it off. Always build your credit. Any loan you take out, do it on time. That tells a lot about a person, your responsibility. Okay, income for sure, things like that. Okay, let's get in types of loans here. Secured debt, unsecured debt. A secure loan, guy, is going to be backed by a piece of collateral, something they will claim if you do not repay that loan. And an unsecured loan is backed by a basic promise to repay. If you've got really good credit and they've never had an issue with you, they know you personally, you've borrowed a lot of money from them and you paid them a lot of money back, they may give you an unsecured loan, but most people are going to require a secure loan to where they will take that item, that car back, that boat, RV, whatever it may be, if you do not repay back that loan. I will tell you, banks they are not in business to be a car lot. If you drive by a bank and they've got a bunch of cars for sale, RVs for sale out in front of that bank, that doesn't look very good on that bank's credit department. They made some poor loans to people who couldn't repay them, so they had to repo those vehicles or RVs, whatever it may be. So again, they're not in business to be a mortgage company per se or a car lot. So if you ever see that, that tells you a little bit about, hey, made some pretty poor loans at that bank. Hadn't been doing very well in that department. Guys, co-signing, be very careful here with co-signing. I kind of come from the Dave Ramsey point of view on co-signing. I would be very, very, very careful if I ever co-sign for anybody, and you better know those people very well. If it's your son or daughter, if it's you, whatever it may be, you need to make sure you know how well they are. How do they keep it? If they can't keep a job, if they're changing jobs every 2 or 3 months, whatever, and they come ask you to co-sign for a car, that's a red flag. They can't keep jobs. You're going to end up paying that loan back. So what a co-signer is basically is if you co-sign for somebody and that somebody quits paying off that loan, they're going to come to you and basically start asking for the money because you were on that loan. You co-signed on it. So you basically said, if they don't pay the loan, I will. And so I've known people do some very crazy things and end up paying for loans that for people who aren't even in their lives anymore. And so co-signing, I would tell you not to do it. And especially if your son or daughter ever asks you to do it, again, you better know how responsible they are. If they're not responsible, then obviously you don't need to be co-signing because basically you're going to end up paying that loan. So if you're asking your mom and dad to co-sign a loan for you, you better make sure you are hold a job and a reliable, responsible person. Because if I was mommy and daddy, I would probably tell you, no, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to end up paying that loan back. So make sure you're saving money to where you don't have to ask for a cosigner. You can pay cash for that vehicle and you don't have to have a cosigner. You pay cash for it, you walk out, you've got the title in hand, it is yours. And again, a cosigner is not even asked for. So only time a cosigner is asked for is if a loan is being taken out. And again, I would advise you not to do it because you're going to end up paying that loan back because that other person is not going to probably end up paying him. So just to my 2 cents on that. So let me continue on. Let me see where we go. Here we go. Borrowing, let me see, pay bills. Yeah, if you want to be a low-risk borrower, guys, this is kind of some things you need to look at doing. Pay your bills on time. I've mentioned that. Pay them early, pay them on time, whatever it may be. Don't make late payments. Late payments do not look good on you. Keep credit card use low. If you're going to have a credit card, don't overextend yourself and get 4, 5, 8, 10 credit cards and have them maxed out. That doesn't look good on you. The banks look at that. They run credit checks on you, and they will see how much credit, lines of credit you have open. So be very careful to shop around for better rates. You can do that when you're borrowing money. Look for lower interest rates. Avoid debt consolidating balances, guys. These is you see the greasy-headed lawyers on TV always telling you to consolidate your debt. A debt con, that con right there, that con, it is a con because what they're going to do is they're going to take all of your debts, some of them lower interest than others. We know that some bills, such as medical bills, have no interest at all on them, but they're going to take all that debt and roll it into one supposedly small payment for you and charge you one set interest rate, which is going to be higher than some of your debt that you actually have. So they're going to make money on you with this. So if you ever need to get out of debt, you can do it yourself by getting on a budget and setting a goal, having a goal of getting out of debt and paying off your debts on your own. So don't fall into debt consolidating. Again, they'll take your low interest loans, 0% interest loans, and roll those into their say 6, 7, 8% interest loans, and you're going to be charged more money in the long run. Don't fall for it. Avoid bankruptcy, guys. That is should be common sense. With the issues of bankruptcy and the effects on you, your credit, your life. Again, bankruptcy does not fix your problem, guys. Your problem is your spending of money. You've got to learn to handle money. Let's kind of get into the single click for me. There we go. Cost of declaring bankruptcy, guys. It does affect. It shows up on your records for years and years. Rejection of future credit. If they see that you have filed for bankruptcy in your past, guys, you've got a bullseye on your head, and they definitely do not want to loan you money anymore because, again, bankruptcy didn't fix it. You've got a problem as far as it may not be an income problem. It's probably a spending problem. And so that you getting credit in the future is probably going to be gone by the wayside. You still have to repay partial debts. Some debts are not even bankruptable. You cannot put the student loans are not bankruptable. You're still going to have that loan. So understand that. Matter of fact, there it is. Secure debt, such as a mortgage, cars, and student loans, are not discharged in bankruptcy. So that's big. A lot of people are, oh, I'll just wipe away everything. It doesn't work that way. So be very careful. Fees, attorney, court fees, things like that. Again, avoid bankruptcy at all costs and control your spending. Avoid credit card debt here. Let me show you, move that down there a little bit. Buy what you can afford, okay? Pay off purchases each month. Avoid interest charges if you have a credit card. If not, pay cash, use your debit card, write a check, whatever it may be. But act your wage, guys, okay? That's what it comes down to. Pay more. If you have a credit card and you're trying to get out of debt, never just pay the minimum payment on a charge account. Always pay as much as you possibly can if you cannot pay it in full that month, because paying a minimum payment on a credit card is what the banks want you to do because they earn a lot more money on you. Eliminate credit card debt. I've kind of mentioned that. Stop using credit cards. And if you find yourself in credit card debt, guys, create a debt budget and get out of debt. And I'm going to talk about that in class. I'll teach you how to do a budget, how to do a debt snowball budget, and how to dump debt. It just takes discipline is what it comes down to. So, but again, sometimes people who like to spend money don't want to be disciplined with money. So that's part of the problem. So let me see if there's another slide. I thought there was, maybe there's not. So, okay, guys, hope you learned a little bit from this PowerPoint. Be very careful with debt. With credit cards, guys, I will steer you away from that. Steer you away from debt for sure. And credit cards, you better make sure you can control it, or it's going to control you. So again, hopefully you learned a little bit from this PowerPoint discussion. And let me know if you ever have questions.